Okay. This is Counselor Blahoviak. I had scheduled a general services administration committee meeting. Unfortunately, we do not have a quorum, so this is now a community meeting for anybody who shows up. We will try to make some discussion of these. The mayor decided that he was not going to be here. He was going to have his town hall meeting, which really, I mean, he could have changed that easily and put priority on his work rather than his political decision making, but he chose not to. So at any rate, the questions that arise about this are not going to be answered because he isn't here to answer them, nor is anyone else. I had asked, since he couldn't come, could we have someone else from the administration who could address things, but that is not going to happen. So, remarks to the public. Mr. Irby, do you want to say anything at this point in time?
No, nothing at this time.
Okay, well, since the attendance is so huge, you should certainly feel very free to, raise your hand and be recognized, but at any time. So, the agenda I had first set out had the update on the streets and first. So since there were two agendas set out, I'm going to co-fi the other one because when that's done and we have the time for the ordinances. But at any rate, it was very interesting to me. I attended the end of the year program for the Provost Scholars.
Yeah.
Right, you put it there, but the one I did had it first. So
Yeah.
people have it both ways, so I figured
More information, the better for
I
you.
can do it either way.
That's right, because it's just open forum.
Yes. So at any rate, the Provost Scholars are a group of young people from Kirk, from Shaw, and also from Ginn Academy at this point in time. That's a new part, but it's been Kirk and Shaw for a number of years. And that was started by our previous superintendent, Dr. Myrna Lloyd Corley, and in connection with Dr. Faye Gary from the nursing school. At any rate, I went to this program and they had food and they had people sitting around and they had balloons and they had books they were giving out. But there were three presentations. The students have two things that they always have. One is a mentor from an area of their interest. For somebody, it might be law. For someone, it might be some sort of science. It might be medicine. It might be an art, whatever. And then the other part is high-level tutoring. This isn't just how we read this word. This is much more interesting, much more intense for the students. And some of our students have done quite well when they left us. But in addition to those two things, they divided up into three groups, and one was doing finance. They were talking about financial literacy. Forgot one of them, but the other one, they were talking about these Cleveland potholes. And I really would like to get back with them. I had given them my contact information, suggested that it would be nice if they would come in, but they gave their discussion of it, and they had slides. And unfortunately, at 71, my hearing isn't what it should be. So you put me in a room with a lot of people, some of whom are talking and whatever, and I don't hear as well as I could otherwise.
Do you think we can get a copy of that maybe from them?
That's part of, I mean, A, I would like a copy, but
Right.
B, I would like
A
to
special
have them-
presentation here would be great.
I'd like to have them come in and do it. And I did suggest that to them, but it's the end of the year and getting ready to, some of them to graduate or to have parties or to whatever. Some of them are having end of the year events
Right.
of any sort. But at any rate, they were talking about potholes And they were talking about, among other things, ways to raise funds for us to fill our potholes because it's such a big problem in the city. And I've been talking about trying to get
Close that door.
some funds from the stimulus money, but that hasn't been well received. Seems to me that that's a better thing to do than to give it to the owner of a liquor store.
Yeah.
But that's not the way the decision making process is. But if you look at what has happened, I've been talking about this huge pothole on Mayfair,
Mhm.
and
The car swallower.
the car swallower.
We're gonna
And the
name
mayor
them.
had asked me for a photograph, and I went to photograph it. And there is another one which isn't so bad, but the worst one is now filled with gravel. So it may not be a permanent solution, but at least the administration has paid some attention to that. As I've said before, the bus pads were in horrible condition because the mayor didn't bother having them filled in before the freeze thaw cycle made them even bigger than they were last fall. But some of them have been filled in. Some of them are really not bad. Some of them, including the one closest to the city hall, are still in quite bad shape. So there has been some progress in that. They did a little work on the Superior Hill, which was really impassable just about for a while. And of course, that one is going to be resurfaced. Now, I had asked that the administration come together so that we would have Keisha Chambers, who was doing the planning for the water infrastructure and the paving, and administration to talk about how much we're able to spend on just filling potholes and on talking about other ways of getting funding for that. That part has not happened, but at least we have had progress. And Keisha Chambers was very informative about telling us that Shaw Avenue is now on the definite list, and they just barely missed the getting funding for Hayden, which is another one that has quite they're about to do one end of Forest Hill Avenue, which is again almost impassable. When there's a car going the other direction, trying to drive down the street, somebody has to wait because many places you cannot drive on both sides of that street. So it's good to have that one. We're talking about trying to get the rest of it. And of course, this does nothing to help the people whose streets are bad, but by no means as bad as some.
Yeah, Mr. Irby was saying about his street, and they couldn't even get him with the ambulance for that because he has to with his. Wasn't that about with your oxygen and that one meeting, Mr. Irby?
And then there were people parked.
Yes. The renters on either side. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
My headache came in with it is Chuck Hove. It is them parking where they know they're not supposed to park. And then when like my oxygen was to be delivered, it causes a traffic jam because, like I said, they have to be closest to the resident to take those tubes of oxygen to my resident. So you can't get by if he parks on that side of the street, the opposite side of my house. So nothing can get by. It's not like I mean, if he parks closest to the house like he's supposed to do, you can't get by until he's done. So the traffic jam doesn't stop. There was a placard that was already dedicated to that area, but it's now gone. I don't know where it went. And because old man John, and I hate to call him that, rest his soul, he had heart problems. So that was a dedicated zone for handicap. Those two houses, the green and brown house and the burgundy house, were handicapped elderly people. And that was a handicapped spot. But it's a shame that how residents don't understand people's lives are in bad shape, and they don't care.
Yeah, I know you had said you had contacted the police and the police haven't responded. And of course, our police are very much in the news these days with the podcasts on the high-speed chases and with the Cleveland NAACP referring the East Cleveland Police to the Justice Department to try to get them to investigate some of our irregularities. We also have the problem that lawyers don't want to take cases relating to the East Cleveland Police because they don't get the legal expenses as many people feel that they should. So they don't want to take them for free because one lawyer said he lost. I believe it was $200,000 prosecuting the case that never
Mhm.
there was any reimbursement for. So we have some concerns about that, and how it impacts with the city's finances, fiscal emergency, the city having funding to take care of the streets, which is one of the major responsibilities of the city. So we have now Don Jones, and since we don't have a quorum, we're rather informal. So I wondered whether you wanted to put your remarks to the public now, or if you'd rather wait till later in the meeting.
I'll take that.
She said, it's open mic night.
Okay, let's gonna say this real quick. What happened to the stipend that the county gives East Cleveland? $1 million for summer and $1 million for winter funding. Where did that money go?
That's a good question.
Then, at the price of asphalt, and the city gets a discount at asphalt and blacktopping, I do believe we need to look and see how much it costs for a street. I know we did the study. What I thought. Wait a minute, I think I'm closer than I ever thought I was. Oh yeah, I am. Okay, this one going to be fun. Okay, they spent asphalt, and I'll tell you the year in a minute. Claiborne, 78,000. Elm, 165,000, and they still didn't do the whole street. East 146, they spent 67,000. Lockwood, 146. Shaw, 240K. And when did this was printed is the question. OMG.
But this is just the price for the asphalt, not for, or is the price for?
No, that was that's what they spent on the streets to be done.
Oh, so that included labor and stuff too.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't, wait a minute. Okay, this paper was printed 4/24 of 2015.
Yeah. It's a significant amount of money, but on the other hand, we're spending lots of money on other things that we can discuss our priorities. We don't have a consolidated plan that I've been made aware of. And because we don't have a plan, it seems like things are done in a rather haphazard order. And that's why I had wanted everybody to get together, at least on this street issue, so that we could discuss priorities, and not only priorities on which street we're going to resurface from, but how much we're going to spend on potholes, and how we're going to compare the different needs of in the different areas. And some of our funds can only be spent down the hill, and they're meant to improve equity. But some people feel that we then need to match those funds for the smaller area with lesser need that's up the hill. Some people feel that interferes with the process of increasing equity. And the HUD money is designed to equity, giving people what they need as opposed to giving equally. So I will ask about the county money. I hope to have someone here from the administration. There's no one. I can't ask right now, and we'll see what we can find out.
May I say two quick things?
Sure.
We went to the county and found that information out. It's just a mere phone call, or you can go down there and ask them how much is the East Cleveland stipend for roads and services, and they'll give you the whole rundown. And then they'll tell you technically what you guys, what East Cleveland owes, what East Cleveland equipment that they have, and it's all in the county because the county knows what they have to spend, like your snow trucks, what that money was supposed to be used for, road salt, your cutting equipment, all that's handled by the county. So like I keep hearing, buying more equipment. What are you doing with the stipend that the county gives?
Interesting.
Mhm.
As you probably aware, I have been very frustrated about not getting answers from the administration about various things about the city finances. And this is something that I have never heard of before. Now, the mayor would use that to accuse me of being ignorant, uneducated about it. And literally speaking, he's correct. But I would say that it is his responsibility to answer my questions. And if it's his responsibility to answer my questions and I'm not getting them answered, then it is not my fault that I don't know things that he's refused to tell me. So I will certainly see what I can find out from the county and have those that data. I did send and ask the county. I had heard rumors that the council had sent a letter supporting the owner of the liquor store getting the building that used to be the the building on Lockwood and Euclid that has been a source of contention. And they did specify that the whole council did not send a letter for that.
I don't remember.
The rumor was interesting. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so at least it was confirmed that they don't think that the council as a whole supports that. So the mayor and Mr. Smedley were down there talking in support of a certain person in that building.
Is that the building that that one group came and gave a little presentation that they would like
Yes.
the count? Okay, yeah, I don't remember any letter of
Good. Because there was a discussion.
because I would have created those.
Mr. Irby, do you have anything else you want to say at this point in time?
No, just trip down to the county. You'll like it. They'll tell you everything you need to know.
Is that on your website or do I need to ask somebody to?
Maybe you need to call Department of Development.
I think she needs to go down to the county, second floor and room 203, but you didn't hear it from me. Yeah, you're gonna have to take a trip down there because on the phone it's not gonna help you. You can ask for copies right then and there. He's a
But
nice
the
guy.
interesting thing is that I find that the first time I asked for copies, I asked the county for copies, I got no response. And then I sent the same message, I just hit reply and sent the same thing. And the only thing I wrote was second request. And if one needs, one can send something and say third request.
Right.
And usually by second or third request, you will get a response, especially if you specify that if there is no such thing that they need to tell you there is no such thing as what you're asking.
No, 100% take a trip down to the county building, go to the second floor, or either tell them you need to go speak to your funding for East Cleveland, who you are. And I mean, it was easier done with two other people that were just residents to find this information out. And by you holding a title, pretty much it's cakewalk. Mhm. So 100%, if you show your face, your little ID, you get the answers.
I'll put that on my to-do list.
And then ask them, what is the budget on the trucks, snow trucks? What are your budget? What is the county's budget dollars for your snow trucks, for your independent trucks, your independent vehicles? And it give you a whole rundown. Mhm.
Okay. This is another example of the time when we all work together and we get a lot more done. And I found that with my concerns about grass cutting, contracts, finding out more and more about city and county land banks.
One tiny close. One tiny. If you ask them the following question,
Yes,
even for landscaping equipment, your park maintenance equipment, there's that fine thin line that they'll tell you what they can give you a tractor for. Equipment comes, I used to say freely, but it's really not freely. It's what you ask them to tell you, and it's not a hard question.
interesting,
Mm-hmm.
very interesting. We do have a set of
They have a funding for parks maintenance, your snow call money, your snow call equipment, then your summer evaluation equipment, meaning backpack blowers, your shovels, your rakes, your lawnmowers, your skid steers, all the equipment to make a city look beautiful. But you didn't really hear it from me, so that'll conclude my comment.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we didn't listen to you, so we don't know anything.
Yeah, and we certainly didn't take any notes. And there's no recording.
We know nothing.
Thank you very much. Okay, that being concluded, Jones, we have something you'd like to say at this point in time? Yeah, you'd be closer to the microphone.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I have a few questions. And one of the first questions is, when do we anticipate coming out of fiscal distress?
I received, well, I didn't receive, I found there was an article, Cleveland.com, that had a link to a letter that was sent by the state auditor to Mr. Cupp and Mr. Huffman in the legislature. And it discussed, among other things, the fact that mayor had spent money that was not appropriated. And it also said that they didn't see us coming out of fiscal emergency in the near future. There was nothing very specific, but not in the near future. And of course, at the last meeting of the Fiscal Oversight Commission, which I missed the first part, but they are still saying that they're concerned that some of our uses of the stimulus funds may not be considered acceptable, and we may end up having to pay that back. So not today or tomorrow, that's for sure, not this year.
Okay, well, additionally, I'd like to know if they have some sort of written forecast, because usually when people want to prosper their city or they're engaged in some sort of economic development drive, they have a forecast. Where they put it down on paper, they anticipate this happening, this business, they're, putting out their feelers to different companies or associations to bring business in. Do we have a written forecast, a written plan of how this city is supposed to prosper?
What I have seen is more a list, and I have not seen all of the papers because they do not directly report to council. They report to the mayor, and there's one member of council on there. And when he is asked for a report, when I've been present, he said he has no report. And when it comes back to council, he does not provide us with a report from the Oversight Commission. So we don't have a formal projection. But what I have seen on some of their papers is a list of things that need to be done. One that comes to mind is that we need to have a maximum amount that is allowed for blocking on the name of it, or when you have an open purchase order, when you have a long purchase order, you can buy for the next 6 months off this purchase order. We don't have a maximum amount, or at least we didn't at the time when they wrote this paper. And they said the council needs to set that. Well, it seems to me that the council needs to set that with input from the mayor and the administration. The finance director needs to provide us with what they would like. And then if we think that's reasonable, that's one thing. We might compare it to what other cities do. We might have other ways of evaluating that. But as of the time this particular paper was written, we had not done that. Nor has council been asked to do that I'm aware of. Are you aware that council is at this?
I think you're talking about blanket POs, might be, but
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah, and there's everything, yeah, anything should have a cap on it.
Yeah,
And then once you meet that cap, and then they have to open a new one, once they've met that threshold, then you open a
Right.
new one.
and if you think it's reasonable and you ask for an accounting and it's all fine, then you do another one. And if you don't think it's reasonable, then you go back to them and say, well, why did you do this or that or the other thing?
Yeah, the only thing that they ever come to council for is when they have a contract that council has approved, like for streets. Then that contract, once they approve by legislation, that can't, the maximum is that, and they have to come back, if it's 125,000, then they have to come back and ask council if they would amend it, what they tried to do on a few of them. And council looks at it. What, remember that one they wanted up $500,000, that it went up that much when they were doing Euclid?
Oh,
When they
yeah.
tried to blame it on COVID, so it went up $500,000.
Yeah, and then they try to say it's because the supply chain.
Well, maybe you can put that into your newsletter. Also, looking at the audit from 2019. Actually, I was looking at the heat map, financial heat map. They sent East Cleveland sent their audit in 2019. But how much? I'd like to know how much did the city make for the red light cameras for 2019, 2020, 2021. That should also be included in the newsletter. The newsletter should be mailed because we have a lot of seniors in East Cleveland who are not computer savvy, who don't even have a computer. They don't have a smartphone, they're not going to.
Or if they
Okay.
have a smartphone, they just use it as a phone.
Exactly, exactly. Um,
I agree, that's on the agenda. One of the things I'd be interested in is how much it would cost to mail something, to physically mail.
There's a place in Berea that they do mailings like that, and they have the lists of everybody, like the homeowners and whatever that live in each city. Off the top of my head, I could tell you just to send a flyer to 3,000, you're talking almost $4,000. And that's, they do the bulk. Because we couldn't do it in-house, we have to have them.
maybe we can use the library if they have that service, because they have a printing service now.
They're expensive.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Um,
We sort of,
I-
yeah, we sort of looked there, but I know we're talking about doing 3 newsletters. We want to try and do 3 a year for council. Put stuff together.
We are,
Well, we're trying. Yes, Tracy will.
I missed the discussion of this.
Well, that was the whole reason when Justin came on, the 2 of us, that he was able to put some things together. And I'll peruse, because we used to send a little letter, and I found the old template. It was very simple that you put some things on. It was just 2-sided. It was
Right.
very simple to send
That's what I
out.
was thinking, decided. But you know what? Because I know they do post some of their information on their website. It's just not reaching people because, like I said, everyone's not computer savvy. People don't have a computer, and people are not going to search their website for a newsletter. If you send it in the mail, people will read it. So
Some people will read it,
Some people will read it. But I did look at the auditor's report. Like I said, it was submitted in 2021, but it only went up to 2019. It didn't have any data for 2020 to 2021. They have merchandise on loan all the way up to 2044. Yes. It's.
what are you referring to?
I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what each item was for, but when I saw how long the loan was for, I'm like, 2044, who's even gonna be around? 2044. Another,
If I'm around, I'll turn 94 that year.
it's like your, loan after loan after loan. If they have the money, they should be paying.
This is
Yeah.
Counselor Stevens, and I'm going to,
Go ahead and take it. Maybe she's going to do hers by Zoom. I don't know.
hello, Counselor Stevens. This is Dr. Bohovia, and Ms. Jones is.
The thing isn't working?
And your fob isn't working?
I have no code, I have nothing.
Your
I
phone
don't
isn't working?
appreciate standing out there for 20 minutes. I
Where's
don't
your-
appreciate that. I knew when they put this bullshit up, it was gonna be a problem.
So you're saying your fob didn't work?
You're lying.
I don't know how to work a fob.
Oh.
I've asked for some numbers. I don't have any numbers. I know that we are being locked out of this building. I know that.
Okay, this little thing,
This is not the place to do that. That should have been done individually or however we came. Sorry to disrupt your meeting.
Well, this is a community meeting and you are part of the community. And
And I'm sick of this.
your frustration is part of the frustration that occurs in this city. That
Well,
needs to
I'm not
be-
gonna be locked out in no building. Now, if they're gonna lock us out the building, then I'm gonna stand in front of the building and protest and call the media and all the things that the residents don't want us to do. This is why we do them. Because we can't get in, we can't even get in the building. We can't get information. We can't get nothing that we need, including paper. They need to find somebody else to play with.
back to the other question. You have one of these things? Okay.
Mhm,
What would you-
mhm.
That was the question I wanted to clarify. Because I know that they have been a problem in getting us, told they were supposed to get us back.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear none of that. To me, this is a lockout. I'm not stupid. I'm old enough to know when I'm being locked out of a building. And then we were told we can only come in here until 4 o'clock. When our meetings start at 6:30. This is asinine.
Who told you that?
I believe it's in the email.
Are you
Should be-
aware of that?
Should be 6:30 for the
It
meeting.
should not be anything. Why is it that this council is being locked out of the building and told when to come and go? You don't tell me when to come and go,
The council should.
and I don't care who does not like it. You're not gonna do that. Find somebody else to go play with.
I agree with you entirely that, when I got here, the building was still unlocked, so I came in without trying mine. So I don't know if mine
No, it don't work.
would, do anything or
I
not.
tell you, it don't work.
And frankly, I would be just as angry as you are if I tried to get into the building and I could not.
Count.
This is a public meeting, and as a public meeting, it is to be open to the public. That means that anybody should be able to.
Get in the building, and you can't even get in the building. So how's the meeting open to the public?
But I was gonna say,
And then council has 24-hour, 7 days a week access to the building also.
Yeah, we should.
You have access to,
Not, but we should.
you're supposed to. It's not if and, you're supposed to be able to enter that building. Your office is in that building. You're supposed to have 24 access. You should never be locked out of your facility at,
maybe he
Got
locked the
off.
door. Maybe he locked the door.
No, he got off work. I think that door locked out bad. I saw him.
Alan,
He probably got off work. But this is systemic lockout. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, this is a
Because
problem.
nobody has the code for the fob.
yeah, each one's supposed to be programmed. Larry McDonald's program, he's in charge of
Oh.
them. He programmed them,
who in
and you have to
charge of
hold the blue thing up against. So I have to try mine, maybe I can't even get in, but I got here at 4.
So it should be this way.
Yeah, you
And
hold it
not
this way.
this
Yeah,
Yeah, you hold it
but you
this way.
still can't get in if you hold it that way.
And you do it quickly and then it turns green real fast.
No, I still can't get in. If some numbers came up. I got numbers.
So I have to get a hold of McDonald and tell him that you'll keep, because he programs them and it should work automatically then. So I'll send him an email and say, hello. Yeah, send it to Commander McDonald, say you got it, something's wrong with these key fobs.
And there's yet another problem. I actually had a tour of the jail once, and I saw that Commander McDonald does know how to behave in a professional manner, it feels like.
Oh, we've got Oh, Mr. Fitzpatrick, somebody on iPhone, Travell Harp, CC, I don't know who CC is. And Mr. Irby.
Well, y'all hear they locking us out the building, so we can't take care of your business.
Oh, I'm sorry, we interrupted Ms. Jones. I'm sorry, Ms. Jones.
We apologize.
Yeah, but I don't blame her for being upset. It should have worked.
Right.
If I get locked out, come let me in. I want to see if mine works now. That's fine. Do you have your key fob on? Counselor? Yeah, let me see if all your work. So we can really quick. I want to know so when I send it.
Careful, Ford. Yeah, don't lock yourself out.
Do you have your phone?
Well, you know what? I will just see what's going to
You'll
Take your phone
be
so
out
that
there
if you
for a
get
while.
locked out.
Oh, she'll leave me alone. She'll say, hi. No, she would knock out the
Call
window.
me
Okay.
or call one of us.
Okay.
And somebody will come and let you in
All right,
if
let's
your
see what I'll do
fobs
here.
don't work. But this is an example of the transparency and efficiency of the city administration. Just analysis of the slide. Oh, I think she's texting now and I'm good out. Let us continue. You were saying,
To put the information in the newsletter.
alphabetical news.
Yes. I'd like to. How much? And what are the funds being used for? And we still never.
Go on, I'm just
Okay,
taking
yeah,
notes.
I didn't want to speak while you were still writing. We still never got a concrete answer as to how much we owe on all the judgments against the city. And me.
Hello, are you locked out?
This is ridiculous.
Interesting.
I'll let her in.
Ms. Jones is on her way to let you in.
Ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, aren't you glad you took your phone?
You'll be standing out there.
Never go anywhere.
I'm not walking around going
To the police department. That's the only way you can get in the building.
No, but I mean, it works to get
But
in
you
this
have to-
door.
But you can't park in the parking lot and walk all the way around the building.
Yeah, no, and that's ridiculous. For safety's sake, that was the whole purpose. And we're supposed to come in that door. So
Well,
let's
there's
send,
a police department vehicle that has been parked in the council parking slot at the end for at least 48 hours now.
so I'll send the email tomorrow and say, you know, this is ridiculous because if I had to go out to my car and get something for the meeting and bring it back in, I can't get in that door.
Right. And we are certainly allowed to have things in our cars that we want to bring in
We do tend to forget some things sometimes.
once in a while,
Just,
just once in a while. We're not perfect yet.
no.
Okay, how much is owed on judgments? That was what you were
Right,
saying.
three that, well, the first one is the 3 Ohio men who were wrongfully convicted. They're supposed to receive 19.5 million. That's Eugene Johnson, Derek Wheat, and Maurice Glover.
Hmm.
The second one is the Arnold Black case. He's worth 50 million. Cleveland Police Department storage room. I want to say that case was
Because it was too much money or something, they lowered it or
They
something.
lowered it.
Yeah, like you.
They
the other-
lowered it, and then I think that, I'm not sure. But I think so. I think I remember, well, sometimes people get tired of waiting and the dance, so they go away.
I believe, the police chief at that time was Bond,
Mhm.
and he had to pay 15 million. He was sued for punitive damages, and the other police officer, I don't remember his name, he also had to pay, I think, 15 million.
I
And then
remember
20 million.
Chief Spots, when he was the chief when I had my break-ins in 2017. And he said he was going to block my phone because I was calling too much.
I believe the city is still on the hook for at least 20 million. And then there's the case, 137 shots fired at Timothy Russell and Jason who were unarmed.
Wasn't that?
That was
the,
Cleveland, wasn't it?
Cleveland police.
That was Cleveland police.
Yeah, they came into this city. It was all Cleveland.
Right.
They had their shootout in our middle school park.
Yep.
Yeah, what happened with the, I think there were like 3 officers trying to do some sort of settlement with Cleveland.
Didn't those three, are you talking about the 3 officers that went to jail? There was one, do you remember those ones, Counselor?
Well, if there
Stevenson?
is a judgment.
It was a
yes,
woman
it's
and 2 men.
They went to
Officers.
jail.
Yeah.
They went to jail. And I think that, Cleveland situation,
East Cleveland was actually going to try
they
some of
did
the,
and they lost.
right.
So
They
I don't
said they
think
had
there's
jurisdiction.
I don't think there's any settlement there. Cleveland had to pay the families to settle. So I don't think they're,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think,
we owe any.
Okay, so yes, the total of those, the status of those lawsuits. Like, just gets back to the question, previous questions, when we're coming out of fiscal distress.
And as they said in that letter to the legislature, not in the near future. And I do have the exact words, but
who said that?
yeah, state auditor sent a letter to Huff and Huffman in the legislature. And there was a letter referring to all of the, I think it's 22 communities that are in fiscal emergency. I could be wrong about that. It could
Well,
be
they did have
19
a few, like, printed the,
No, it's only a few.
It was,
And most of them are villages.
it was about 20.
if
I
it's
think-
red, that's fiscal distress.
I think it was
And
like
this is
6
just one page
sentences
out
for
of
East
7.
Cleveland, wasn't it? That you sent it, you highlighted. It was like 6 sentences, a little paragraph.
Yeah, there was a very short.
Right, but it was
amount of-
still in there, right?
And
6.
the 2 things that I recall from
Mhm.
that letter are, they were concerned that the mayor is spending money that council has not appropriated, and that they have no anticipation that will be out.
Yeah, it was something they never sent council.
Well, I can't say that they didn't send to council because in the last 2 months, we haven't gotten any mail. And I know for a fact that Friends of the East Cleveland Library sent invitations here and several other people sent invitations to this building and we did not receive them. So I can't vouch for that.
Yes, that's,
I passed by legislation to get a PO box. Couldn't we do that? If council
That's the only
passes
way.
it by
that-
legislation,
Yeah,
we have to.
because we don't get any mail and that's just so.
I remember you asked
interesting.
about it and you were told no, but if you pass it by legislation, I'm
It's just-
thinking,
It's just so interesting.
should be able to.
How,
We should be able to have it, sent.
why should we have to send our mail somewhere?
But if you look at the situation, I don't think I don't know, can we still get PO boxes at the little branch on Shaw? Or would we have to do it up at Cleveland Heights where our real post office?
Why
is?
couldn't you?
Well, no, because East Cleveland's post office is being recognized at the job fair, and they're looking to put people in there. They have a job fair this weekend,
Well, that's good.
and so East Cleveland is listed on the list of post offices where they're trying to put people, so maybe they want to buy it, I hope.
Certainly, Senator Brown had said to me that if he had known earlier, if Gary Norton had made the problems public instead of just saying it's okay to close our full post office, he thinks he could have saved it. He told me that a number of years back.
But even with getting a post office box, there's no problem on the way into work in the mornings. I could always swing, because right there, swing by, get the mail in the morning.
But
It's-
why do
it's
we have
just-
to do that? We shouldn't have to.
But like you
However-
said, it was so weird when I thought about it after you told me. It's like, we used to get tons of mail when I was here before. And then it's like, you were talking, it's like, you're right. The only things that we were getting back was return to sender because nobody lived at that address. It was stuff we sent out. But other things, it's like, we're
And
not
it's been
getting
weeks-
anything.
It's been weeks, we haven't gotten any mail. And I know people sent invitations to events and that sort of thing. I know that for a fact.
Do we have people holding two positions?
Mayor and safety director.
Yes.
I know that at one point in time,
Sure.
yeah, I don't know whether it's current. I know that at one point in time, the mayor's assistant was also the HR director. Now, that particular person, to the best of my knowledge, is not working, though the first it was that she had left the city's employ, and the second was that she was on leave and might be back. So I don't know. I don't know. Do you know?
I thought the mayor said at the time that she's probably not coming back because they hired a replacement.
But then they said after that she was
I don't
on
think
leave,
she's
but I
coming
was
back.
thinking,
Yeah, I don't think she's coming back because they hired a replacement for her.
but how about any other positions?
When you're
Okay.
talking about the safety director, I remember under Norton, he tried to pay himself more money by doing both. So council zeroed that out. So the safety director's always been the mayor, but you don't get paid for it. You do have to do, he's doing his duties, but he doesn't get any money because council was smart enough to zero the whole thing out.
So didn't I see something about safety director?
Well, that's on the one piece of legislation that had to do with the auctions for the tow yard that they're
We
requesting.
don't have safety.
There's no name there.
Right, it says safety director, because when they sent it down and I
We don't
saw
have
it,
a safety director's position.
right, and then when I saw it, I
So
changed
needs
it,
to
and put
come out of
mayor,
there.
and they changed it again, but we're gonna put mayor back on it, because that's where it came
Okay.
from.
That's all you
Right.
got. You
So
don't
they
have a
changed it
safety
again, so,
director position.
Yeah, I keep changing it back to mayor.
So if it says something that's
See? See?
obviously not true, then it should not be that stand.
That is very strange.
You know this stuff, right?
Okay, who else this doesn't work? Oh, no, it's the police officers aren't even working. Oh, it's broken. That was McDonald. It's broken. That's why it's not working. That was Larry McDonald, and the police officer couldn't even get in with theirs. The thing is broken, he just said.
I didn't see Larry, I saw that one.
Well, Larry just went straight back that way.
I don't care.
Yeah.
They can say it's broke. They can say
Should I put
whatever they
something in
want to
there,
say.
George, just in case anybody else wants to come in?
Just
Like
leave it open.
Huh?
Leave it open.
Oh, here comes Charles.
Put something in so it doesn't close.
Well, Charles is coming to your meeting, council. Hello,
don't plan to be here long,
right.
but I'm just pissed that I have to stand out there painting and bill.
The back key fob wasn't working. The poor council got locked out there. We didn't realize, and no key fobs are working on that door. to come in. Yeah,
You would make an excellent.
you got
employee.
2 more minutes, counselor, and then finance committee meeting.
So my last question is, they were supposed to be on a schedule this month to discuss PFAS. And, I think Penny Martin said, this Tracy sent the email, that would be this month, but
And when is this meeting on Tuesday?
No, Miss Gowdy wants hers, and it's gonna be sort of long. She's having the county come and do a presentation. So there's just, I don't know. I just found out about it. On their land bank properties. Because I told her I need to know what it is. I just can't put presentation. But
And I would like to know what. Thank you very much for your time and for your concerns about the city. and
yeah,
how
Miss
it's
Jones, send that
functioning.
to me again. Maybe I can get you on for the agenda review next week. Because they are just being so bombarded with meetings the past couple of weeks. And it's like,
So this community meeting regarding, sort of regarding the Home Service Administration committee business, but sort of not because we didn't have administration here to answer our questions. It has been interesting. Thank you very much for your input. And we will proceed to the finance committee.
okay, everybody hold on one moment. I'm going to end the recording for Counselor Bohoviac's meeting, and then we're going to start up the new one. You're fine to stay where you are for Counselor Stevenson's Finance Committee. One moment.